The swamp creatures rise again. The Democrat-hacked so-called investigator Robert Mueller has chosen a staff to investigate President Donald Trump and the fake narrative of Russia collusion which was conjured up by the Clinton machine as an excuse for getting her rear end handed to her in 2016 presidential election. But as most everyone knows by now, in typical Democrat form, most of the people Mueller chose conveniently have a history of heavily supporting Democrats, and in particular, Hillary Clinton. This week the blatant biased antics of a third member has come into light, Jeannie Rhee, who has extremely close ties with the Clintons and the Democrat Party. Rhee had worked under Eric Holder for 2 years during President Obama's 2 terms. She has also given over $16,000 to Democrats since 2008. Additionally, maxed out donations to Hillary Clinton in 2015 and 2016. But it doesn't stop there. Rhee also represented Hillary Clinton during her infamous email lawsuit in 2015, as she worked to block access to Clinton's private emails and her bathroom servers. Rhee also represented the Clinton Foundation in the racketeering lawsuit in 2015. Let's not kid ourselves here, Rhee was chosen for a reason. When you want to set up a witch hunt, she fits the criteria perfectly. She has donated the full amount an individual can legally donate to Hillary Clinton. She represented Crooked Hillary, and represented the Crooked Clinton Foundation. Via CBS News, these are the lawyers aiding Mueller in the Russia probe. Aaron Zebley, joining the prosecution team in June. Zebley had served as Mueller's chief of staff while he was FBI director. Before joining the special counsel's office, he was a partner at law firm Wilmer Hale, where he focused on cybersecurity issues. He also been senior counselor in the Justice Department's National Security Division, a special agent in the FBI's Counterterrorism Division and assistant U.S. attorney in the National Security and Terrorism Unit in Alexandria, Virginia, according to a press release from Wilmer Hale in 2014. Zebley, a former FBI agent himself, also played a role in the 2006 case involving al-Qaeda terrorist Zacarias Moussaoui, testifying in the death penalty case against him. Zebley said that investigators may have been able to track on the 9/11 hijackers, and discover the plot, if Moussaoui had been more forthcoming with information prior to the attacks. Zebley had linked Moussaoui to the hijackers through Ramzi bin al-Shibh, who wired money for the operation, and money he sent from Germany, according to a New York Times report from 2006. Jeannie Rhee rejoined Mueller's team in June, according to the Washington Post, and also worked as a partner at Wilmer Hale. She had previously served as Deputy Assistant Attorney General in the Justice Department's Office of Legal Counsel, where she advised White House officials and the Attorney General on issues including criminal procedure and national security, according to a Wilmer Hale press release from 2011. She also served as Assistant U.S. Attorney in the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia. James Quarles served as an Assistant Special Prosecutor as part of the Watergate Special Prosecution from 1973 until 1975. More recently, he also was a partner at Wilmer Hale. He also served as a law clerk in a U.S. District Court of Maryland in the early 1970s, according to Bloomberg. Andrew Weissmann was the FBI's general counsel while Mueller was FBI director. In early 2015, he was selected to serve as chief of the fraud section in the Justice Department's Criminal Division. He has also worked as a partner at Jenner & Block and was the director of the Enron Task Force from 2002 until 2005. He has spent most of his career at the Department of Justice. During the 1990s, Weissmann worked on a case related to the mafia and Russian organized crime that involved Felix Sater, a Trump business partner who is now a focus of Mueller's probe. Andrew Goldstein joins the Mueller team from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan, where he was overseeing a separate investigation into former Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort's business and real estate dealings. Mueller has since taken over that investigation as well. Michael Dreeben currently serves as the Deputy Solicitor General in charge of overseeing the Justice Department's criminal appellate docket. according to the American Law Institute. Dreeben, who has argued more than 100 court cases before the U.S. Supreme Court, joins the team on a part-time basis. Greg Andres, a former Dodge official, Andres is one of the most recent hires to the team, joining in early August, according to Reuters news agency. Andres comes to the team from the Davis Polk & Wardwell law firm in New York, where he is a partner, focusing on white-collar criminal defense cases. According to Law 360, Andres has represented individuals in financial institutions and organized crime, anti-corruption and financial fraud cases, and have conducted more than a dozen jury trials involving organized crime and terrorism. Some of the cases Andres oversaw include the prosecution of Robert Allen Stanford, who was convicted of operating an $8 billion Ponzi scheme, and the prosecution of several members of the Bonanno crime family, one of whom plotted to have him killed. Elizabeth Prelogar left her post as an assistant in the U.S. Solicitor General's office within the Justice Department to join Mueller's team. The Harvard Law School graduate previously worked at Hogan Lovells, a private international law firm, and was formerly a law clerk to U.S. Supreme Court Justices Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Elena Kagan. Prelogar brings Russian language knowledge to the team, as she participated in a graduate student Fulbright Scholar program in Russia from 2002 to 2003. She was also crowned Miss Idaho in 2004. Brandon Van Grack. Prosecutor Brandon Van Grack comes from the Counterintelligence and Export Control section of the Justice Department's National Security Division. His name was on the subpoena issued to former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, and he is leading the grand jury inquiry tasked with investigating Flynn's foreign lobbying, according to the New York Times. The grand jury has begun issuing subpoenas to businesses connected to Flynn and his colleagues. Van Grack is a Harvard Law School graduate and has previously worked on prosecutions relating to Iran and Syria. Lisa Page has been an attorney with the FBI's Office of the General Counsel. Prior to her position with the FBI, she worked as a trial attorney in the Organized Crime and Gang section of the Justice Department's Criminal Division. Page has prosecuted a number of cases involving Eastern European organized crime. In one case, she partnered with an FBI task force in Budapest, which investigated a money laundering case against former Trump campaign manager Paul Manafort's one-time business partner, Dmitry Firtash, a Ukrainian oligarch. Federal investigators have told Manafort he will likely be indicted in Mueller's probe, the New York Times reported Tuesday. Rush Atkinson was a trial attorney for the Criminal Division Securities and Financial Fraud Unit at the Justice Department, where he worked under his special counsel colleague Andrew Weissman. In his position with the Dodge, Atkinson has pursued a number of cases involving financial malfeasance, including one in which he helped indict a former Bankrate finance vice president, according to a Dodge press release. Atkinson has also worked in the Dodge's National Security Division, and has experience with espionage cases in the Eastern District of Virginia. Atkinson received his law degree from New York University School of Law in 2010. Adam Jed is an appellate lawyer who comes from the Dodge's Civil Division. Jed, a 2008 Harvard Law School graduate, once clerked for Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens. He has worked at the Dodge since 2010. In 2014, then Attorney General Eric Holder awarded Jed the Attorney General's Award for Exceptional Service, a top Dodge honor, according to a Dodge news release. Aaron Zielinski. For the last 3 years, Zielinski has worked for Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein as an assistant U.S. attorney in Maryland. Before that, Zielinski began his legal career under the Obama administration as a special assistant to the State Department's legal advisor. Last year, he was awarded the Dodge's Excellence in Prosecution of Organized Crime Award, according to a Dodge news release. Zielinski, a 2010 Yale Law School graduate, has also clerked for U.S. Supreme Court Justices John Paul Stevens and Anthony Kennedy. Zainab Ahmad, until recently an assistant U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, has prosecuted more than a dozen international terrorist suspects, traveling all over the world to find witnesses and gather evidence. She has yet to lose a single case she has pursued against an international terrorist suspect. Ahmad earned her law degree from Columbia Law School, and received the Superior Performance Award for her criminal prosecution of an al-Qaeda operative in the Arabian Peninsula, according to the Dodge. Her work prosecuting international terrorists earned her lengthy profile in The New Yorker in May, which in addition to describing her prosecutions, mentioned her love of karaoke. Favorite song? Manic Monday. Does anyone actually believe for one moment that this political hack attorney, or any of the others ones on Mueller's team, including Mueller himself, will not bring their biased views into this bogus investigation against Donald Trump, his administration, and his family? If there is anyone out there who does, I have a lightly used bridge I want to sell you in California. Please share if you agree this phony witch hunt against President Donald J. Trump needs to end.